The Galactic Union Council chamber was an architectural marvel, its vast domed ceiling encrusted with luminous gemstones that mimicked the light of distant stars. Surrounding corridors were intricately carved with depictions of galactic species, each image a piece of the mosaic representing millions of years of history. At the center, a massive, slowly rotating round table served as the focal point, where representatives from each civilization were seated in an order reflecting their positions within the galaxy's power structure. A murmur swept through the room as the human representative, Dr. Elena Carter, stepped onto the podium. With a poised yet resolute demeanor, she commanded attention from all sides not just because of her simple yet symbolically rich Earth-inspired robe, but also due to the determination that burned in her eyes. She was acutely aware of her position in the room, representing a species most others dismissed as fragile and inconsequential. Across the chamber, the Zaryth delegation, their crystalline skin glowing faintly and their eyes shimmering with an otherworldly light, whispered among themselves, smirking with thinly veiled derision. The Zaryth had long considered themselves the pinnacle of galactic evolution, boasting a civilization that had thrived for millions of years. They lounged on thrones designed to exude authority, their presence a testament to their self-proclaimed superiority. Elena Carter, a cold voice rang out, its owner none other than the Zaryth's leader, Lord Yazan, renowned for his rhetoric and disdain for what he deemed inferior species. I trust your speech will prove more entertaining than humanity's feeble attempts at integrating into the galactic community. We have little time for meaningless prattle. The room erupted in subdued chuckles, not only from the Zaryth, but also from a few other species aligned with them. Elena clenched her hands against the podium, willing herself to remain calm. She had anticipated this moment, knowing that every gaze in the chamber bore down on her, not just to listen but to judge. "Honorable Council," she began, her voice firm and unwavering, ignoring the mocking stares fixed upon her. "Humanity may be younger than many of the species gathered here today, but it is precisely this youth that grants us a unique perspective and strength you have underestimated. Our diversity, adaptability, and determination are undeniable assets." She paused, sweeping her gaze across the chamber. A few representatives from other species seemed to pay closer attention, though. The Zaryth maintained their contemptuous expressions. "Impressive, Dr. Carter," Yazan interjected, his thin lips curving into a sardonic smile. "But the youth you so proudly champion is not a perspective, it is a mark of inexperience, of ignorance. We, who have existed for millions of years, have no place for the reckless impulses of the untested." Elena could feel the tension in the air but remained steadfast. "Lord Yazan," she replied, her voice tinged with steel, "humanity may not boast a history spanning eons, but we have shown that we can learn and adapt swiftly. We are not merely a species in evolution. We are one constantly seeking truth, constantly pushing boundaries." A ripple of murmurs coursed through the assembly. Yazan raised a single brow, his displeasure evident as Elena's words began to find resonance among some of the delegates. "Pushing boundaries?" Yazan sneered. "Or blindly fumbling in the dark?" Laughter, louder and more boisterous this time, echoed through the chamber. Elena straightened her back, refusing to be cowed by the hostility. "Sometimes," she said, her eyes alight with a fiery determination, "the dark is precisely where the light is found." Her words silenced the room, if only for a moment. Several representatives exchanged glances, as if contemplating the truth of her statement. Elena seized a fleeting opportunity. "Humanity has not come here to seek your validation or admiration. We are here to remind the Council that progress is not measured by the length of one's existence, but by what we achieve and how we face challenges. And I am confident that if you give humanity a chance, you will be surprised by what we can contribute." The atmosphere grew increasingly solemn. A few delegates from other species nodded in agreement, while the Zaryth delegation remained cold and impassive. Yazan said nothing more, though his eyes betrayed his irritation as Elena's words began to resonate with others. As she stepped down from the podium, Elena felt the weight of the moment. She knew her speech would not instantly change everyone's perceptions, but it had planted a seed of small, fragile glimmer of hope. In a battle that extended beyond intellect to encompass dignity and conviction, Elena understood this was merely the beginning. Returning from the Galactic Union Council, Elena Carter entered her office at the Galactic Research Station, a vast space filled with books, maps, and advanced analytical equipment. The dim glow from energy panels cast a blend of ancient and modern ambience. Though her body was exhausted after hours of tense debates, her mind replayed the sneering looks and condescending smiles of the Zaryth officials. She couldn't shake the words of Lord Yazan, who had boasted of his species' peerless civilization, built on a legacy spanning millions of years, with an undeniable pride. Yet, one peculiar detail kept gnawing at her. If their civilization was truly unique and advanced as claimed, why did the ancient scripts she had glimpsed in their cultural displays bear striking similarities to ancient Earth symbols she had studied? Elena decided to focus on this question, even if it meant enduring more contempt and hostility from other species. She assembled her team of linguists, historians, and cryptography experts to embark on an ambitious project, decoding the Zaryth's ancient scripts. Her team was soon granted access to the archives at the Galactic Museum, where the Zaryth's ancient texts were preserved within special energy-infused crystalline blocks. These texts weren't just cultural artifacts, but were revered as evidence of Zaryth's intellectual supremacy. Only authorized researchers were permitted to analyze them, and Elena's team had to navigate numerous, rigorous protocols to gain entry. Upon entering the archive, Elena was awestruck by its magnificence. The walls were lined with glowing racks, each holding hundreds of crystalline tablets inscribed with ancient scripts. The light reflected from the crystals resembled a miniature galaxy, filling the room with an otherworldly brilliance. They began with the oldest known texts, stored within pale blue crystals. Elena placed one into a language scanner, which projected holographic images of the inscriptions, enabling the team to scrutinize each character in detail. At first glance, the symbols appeared intricate and abstract, but the longer she studied them, the more Elena noticed something unexpected. The structures felt familiar, unlike any other alien language she had encountered. She cross-referenced the symbols with Earth's database of ancient languages. The AI system began searching for patterns, and after hours of analysis, the results stunned the team. The Zaryth's ancient characters bore significant similarities to the script of Sumer, one of Earth's oldest known civilizations. Sentence structures, the use of symbols to convey abstract concepts, and even the shapes of the characters exhibited uncanny parallels. But there was more. As the comparisons expanded, Elena discovered that the symbols also bore resemblances to Mayan hieroglyphs, particularly in how they represented time and astronomical events. This revelation raised a profound question. How could two civilizations separated by millions of light years share linguistic elements? The team decided to delve deeper. They searched for texts containing historical and mythological narratives, hoping to uncover clues about the origins of these similarities. One particular ancient record captured Elena's attention, a document describing the era of Origins, a mythical epic of Zaryth history. According to the text, the ancestors of the Zaryth were not the wise beings they were today. They were wanderers, surviving on various planets using technologies bestowed upon them by a species referred to as the Lightbringers. The symbols used to depict the Lightbringers were not detailed images, but descriptions that closely resembled humans. Tall figures, luminous eyes, and the ability to communicate telepathically. The information sent a chill through Elena. Could it be that the ancestors of the Zaryth were influenced by another species? And if the Lightbringers truly existed, could they have some connection to ancient humans on Earth? These questions opened a cascade of new hypotheses. Elena and her team continued analyzing the symbols, cross-referencing them with historical events on Earth and other planets in the galaxy. They uncovered further evidence, suggesting that the Zaryth had been profoundly shaped by an external source of knowledge, possibly even a precursor to humanity itself. A mix of anxiety and exhilaration filled Elena. She knew this discovery could challenge the Zaryth's deeply rooted pride, but at the same time, it was an opportunity to reshape the galaxy's perception of humanity. If they could prove this connection, humanity's standing in the Council would no longer be dismissed so easily. Elena paused, staring at the ancient script glowing on the screen. Part of her was apprehensive about the consequences of the truth they were uncovering. But another part, stronger and more determined, knew that she couldn't stop now. The truth needed to be revealed, no matter how much it might change everything. Elena's team gradually uncovered earth-shattering pieces of the true history of the Zaryth species. After months of relentless investigation, they stumbled upon evidence that no researcher could ignore. Initially, it was ancient tools with material structures incompatible with Zaryth's scientific capabilities. These metal fragments, excavated from remote regions of Zaryth Prime, bore signs of a technology only ancient humans could have crafted. The team conducted a more detailed analysis of the molecular structures of these tools. The results left Elena stunned. The surface compounds exhibited identical properties to artifacts unearthed at Earth's archaeological sites, dating back to the golden ages of mythical civilizations, such as Atlantis and Lemuria civilizations, long considered legends in human history. But that was just the beginning. Another shocking discovery emerged when Elena and her team analyzed DNA samples recovered from Zaryth Prime's archaeological sites. The DNA had a complex structure, with genetic segments that couldn't be found in any other species in the galaxy except for humans. Though the DNA showed some evolutionary variations, the genetic markers clearly indicated that the ancestors of the Zaryth shared remarkable similarities with humans. This raised a profound question. How could the Zaryth, who prided themselves on being an independent species, share genetic origins with humanity? It didn't take long for the team to piece together the findings. In an ancient record preserved within energy-infused crystals, they discovered a text chronicling the Age of Darkness, a vague period in Zaryth history. According to the text, this was a time when Zaryth Prime was devastated by an unknown catastrophe, leading to the total collapse of its native civilization. The most striking revelation, however, was a passage describing the arrival of the Lightbringers, beings depicted as tall, luminous-eyed figures possessing unparalleled intelligence. The Lightbringers used advanced technology to restore the planet, rebuild its ecosystems, and most significantly recreate the Zaryth species from the ashes. The symbols describing the Lightbringers were astonishingly similar to the depictions of the Lightbearers mentioned in earlier findings. They also shared distinctive characteristics of ancient humans, as portrayed in origin myths. This led to an inescapable conclusion. Humanity's ancestors were intergalactic travelers who had once carried knowledge and technology across the stars, seeding life on planets like Zaryth. When this information was made public, it sparked an uproar in the scientific community. Across the galaxy, scholars and researchers engaged in heated debates. Zaryth officials immediately dismissed the findings, claiming they were fabrications intended to tarnish their reputation. They accused Elena and her team of manipulating evidence to elevate humanity's status in the Galactic Union Council. But the evidence Elena had gathered could not be easily dismissed. She organized a scientific press conference aboard a neutral space station, drawing hundreds of journalists, researchers, and politicians from various species. During the event, Elena presented her findings. DNA samples, the molecular composition of tools, ancient texts, and models explaining how the Lightbringers' technology had been used to rebuild the Zaryth species. She meticulously laid out each piece of evidence, leaving no room for the Zaryth officials to exploit potential weaknesses. The overwhelming evidence left the audience in stunned silence. But soon after, a wave of heated reactions erupted. Some species, especially those historically at odds with the Zaryth, voiced their support for humanity. They demanded that the Council launch a comprehensive investigation into the true history of the Zaryth. However, as Elena spoke, a high-ranking Zaryth official, Ambassador Valerian, stepped onto the stage with a cold expression. He declared that Elena's evidence was invalid, dismissing it as a malicious conspiracy designed to discredit the Zaryth. You may manipulate data and weave the story you desire, Valerian said with disdain. But our history is untouchable, and we will not allow anyone to distort the truth. Yet it became clear that not all Zaryth officials stood united with Valerian. Some Zaryth scientists discreetly approached Elena's team, admitting they had uncovered similar evidence in the past but were forced into silence by political pressures. From this point, tensions reached an unprecedented level. Factions within the Galactic Union Council became starkly divided. One side aligned with the pursuit of truth, advocating for further research and dialogue, while the other sought to protect Zaryth pride at all costs. But Elena knew this was just the beginning. The truth had been buried for far too long, and to fully uncover it, she and her team would need to prepare for the fierce battles that lay ahead. Before the Galactic Union Council, the tension was palpable. Suspicious, anxious, and even furious gazes from representatives of species across the galaxy focused squarely on Elena. Standing at the podium, she could feel the weight of history pressing down on her. A single mistake could bring all the efforts of her and her team crashing down. Elena began her speech in a calm yet resolute tone. Honorable council members and esteemed representatives of the galaxy species, today, I do not stand here seeking conflict or accusing anyone. I stand here to speak about the truth, a truth that may be difficult to accept, but is fundamental to our collective progress. She paused, her gaze locking onto Ambassador Valerian of the Zaryth, who maintained his cold expression. Truth is not a burden or an accusation. Truth is the light that guides us. It does not divide us, only pride and fear do that. Her words cast a heavy silence over the room. Elena continued, her voice now charged with passion. History has shown us that division only leads to suffering. Today, we stand at a crucial crossroads. We can either allow the past to divide us further, or we can seize this opportunity to build a brighter future together. I believe that you, the leaders and brightest minds of the galaxy, can recognize what truly matters. She gestured toward the large screen behind her, which displayed images of artifacts, ancient texts, and DNA data her team had uncovered. These are not just pieces of evidence. They are reminders that we were once connected, that there was a bond that transcended space and time. Our ancestors, whoever they were, wherever they came from, left behind a legacy not for one species, but for all of us. A young representative from the Zaryth, who had been quietly observing, suddenly stood. Bowing to the council, he spoke in a trembling voice. What Dr. Elena says is not without merit. I have read forbidden ancient records in our archives. They confirm that our history was altered, but I never dared to speak out for fear of punishment. The hall erupted into chaos. Valerian shot to his feet, pointing at the young representative and shouting, "You have no right to speak. Silence yourself immediately." But Elena raised her hand, calling for calm. "Let him speak. If we do not listen to the truth, we are no better than blind fools covering our own eyes." Elena's words marked a turning point. Other representatives, especially from species with long-standing grievances against the Zaryth, began voicing their opinions. Some expressed support for Elena, while others called for widespread collaboration to verify all the evidence. After hours of heated debate, a historic decision was reached. The Council would establish an intergalactic project to further investigate Elena's findings. This initiative would not only seek to uncover the truth about history, but also promote scientific and cultural collaboration between species. Elena was appointed as the head of the research team, a controversial yet hopeful decision. She understood that this role was not just an opportunity to prove the truth, but also a chance to foster trust between humanity and the Zaryth. In the months that followed, the project achieved remarkable breakthroughs. Initially cautious, Zaryth scientists began collaborating more openly with Elena's team. Together, they explored ancient sites across the galaxy, from desolate planets to luminous nebulae. Collaboration extended beyond science into culture. Zaryth and human artists began creating joint works of art, using both ancient and modern languages to tell the story of a new beginning. Intergalactic art exhibitions drew millions, becoming symbols of harmony. The project also unearthed forgotten technologies from the era of the Lightbringers, including a clean energy system capable of powering the entire galaxy without harming the environment. This cooperation not only healed the rift between humans and the Zaryth, but also laid the foundation for a new era of unity within the Galactic Union Council. While conflicts and disagreements persisted, they were gradually overshadowed by mutual understanding and a shared desire to explore the stars together. Standing on the deck of a space station, Elena watched human and Zaryth starships soar side by side into the vast expanse of the cosmos. She knew this journey was only just beginning. Most of all, she believed that the future would no longer belong to a single species, but to all who were willing to build it together. On the radiant surface of the neutral planet Iridia, where the Galactic Alliance had just been declared, shimmering buildings reflected the light of two distant suns. This once forgotten wasteland had now become the center of a new era where humans and Zaryth set aside pride and resentment to build a future of peace together. Unified cities, symbols of the blending of two distinct cultures, sprouted across the planet. Harmonia City, the capital of the Alliance, stood as the most brilliant testament to this spirit of cooperation. Its meticulously designed streets showcased a harmonious blend of Zaryth's glowing biostructures and humanity's bold geometric architecture. Along the wide boulevards, holographic screens displayed footage of the first meetings between humans and Zaryth, reminding everyone that peace was not a gift, but the hard-won result of enduring struggle. At the heart of Harmonia stood the Academy of the Future, the first school dedicated to nurturing the next generation of both species. Here, human and Zaryth children learned and discovered together, forging bonds their ancestors once deemed impossible. In a history class focused on the Alliance, a human teacher, Ms. Alyssa Hart, recounted the difficult journey toward peace. Around her, children's eager eyes sparkled with curiosity, including Arlen, a sharp-witted human boy, and Lythra, a Zaryth girl with luminous blue skin that glowed faintly. "Do you know what made this alliance possible?" Ms. Alyssa asked, her eyes shining with passion. Lythra raised her hand, her melodic voice ringing out. "Is it because we learned to understand and accept each other?" Ms. Alyssa smiled warmly. "That's right. But more importantly, it's because we dared to face the truth, no matter how painful it was. Truth is the key to unlocking the future." Meanwhile, in Harmonia's cutting-edge research facilities, human and Zaryth scientists collaborated to uncover the mysteries of the universe. The Galactic Laboratory, the Alliance's largest research hub, became a melting pot of minds from both species. Here, the most advanced technologies were developed, from hyperdrive engines to environmental restoration systems for overexploited planets. A particularly groundbreaking project was the Aurora exploration ship, the first spacecraft entirely constructed with integrated human and Zaryth technology. Aurora was not just a vessel but a symbol of the shared dream to explore the farthest reaches of the cosmos. On the ship's deck, Chief Engineer Kellen, a seasoned human, worked alongside Zaryth technician Ryla, fine-tuning the control systems. "What do you think of this project, Kellen?" Ryla asked, her bright eyes reflecting the glow of the control panels. "This isn't just a ship," Kellen replied, his voice deep with emotion. "It's a declaration that when we work together, nothing is impossible." Outside the Aurora, Alliance warships patrolled the border regions to ensure security. Mixed crews of humans and Zaryth warriors worked seamlessly as a unified force. During a training drill, Captain Lynn, a human female commander, and Zaryth Vice Commander Valorn orchestrated combat formations, delivering a flawless display of coordination between the two species. However, not every corner of the galaxy welcomed change easily. On the distant planet Xandria, extremist factions conspired to sabotage the Alliance, spreading misinformation to sow discord. To counteract this, the Alliance deployed reconciliation teams. Among them, Dr. Elena Carter, whose speech had once reshaped the galaxy, continued to play a leading role. At a tense meeting on Xandria, she faced local leaders resistant to unity. "Look around you," Elena said, her voice firm, yet persuasive. "What we have is not just an opportunity for reconciliation, it's a chance to make history. Let's not let our future be imprisoned by fear and pride." As Elena's words echoed in the room, a palpable shift occurred. A long moment of silence passed before one of Xandria's leaders rose and nodded in agreement. Over time, positive change began to ripple outward. Markets within the Alliance showcased goods from across the galaxy, from Zaryth's glowing crystals to humanity's advanced nanotechnology. Annual cultural festivals celebrated the music, cuisine, and art of both species, blending their traditions into vibrant displays of unity. On the 10th anniversary of the Alliance's founding, thousands gathered in Harmonia's central square. Elena stood on the podium, her eyes glowing with hope. "We are not defined solely by what has happened to us," she declared, her voice resonating through the vast space, "but by how we confront the truth to shape the future." Above, in the night sky, lights from spacecraft painted vibrant streaks across the stars, forming a living galaxy of color. Children, both human and Zaryth, gazed upward with sparkling eyes, dreaming not only of distant worlds, but knowing that the future lay firmly in their hands.